Okay, so if you read the text on Facebook, which I doubt anybody has, but you know what I'm going to say. And if you don't know what I'm going to say because you haven't read the text on Facebook and you're just coming across this on YouTube, go to CP on Facebook. It's a page. I tell stories. I'm about to tell one now. So, in late 1993, I was 18 years old. And I was dating this girl and only started dating her in like December. So it wasn't a very long relationship. And on New Year's Eve 1993, she dumped me. And she was right too. I was a little emo boy. Not emo like we know it now, but, you know, I wore black. I listened to metal, but good metal. And plus, like Nirvana, Soundgarden, and all that good stuff. It was the early 90s, that's what we did. I did not wear much flannel, on the other hand. So, yeah, 1994 started with me already kind of depressed and lonely, because that's just how I spent my time anyways. And, so, I should backtrack a little bit. I lived in Leroy at the time with my dad and my stepmother, but I still went to school here in Bloomington at the high school. And I worked here in town. I worked at the grocery store over on Towanda where the post office is now. It was in Eagles. And they closed in July. That'll come up next part, I guess. But, so I would work every day after school. I would walk over there from the high school and work. I was a bagger. I wanted to say busser because that's what I've been doing ever since, which sucks, but that's a whole other thing. So I was a bagged groceries, and I would work until my dad got off of work, and then he would come pick me up because I didn't have a license or a car. He would come pick me up, and we would go home out to Leroy, which is like, 10, 15 minutes away by car, not by foot. But on Fridays, he wouldn't bother coming to pick me up, which means I probably could have worked later on Fridays, but I didn't. So I would get like 20 hours a week, even though I worked 5 days. Paychecks were garbage. I made garbage money anyways, but all that money was used to spend on CDs and eventually beer, but that's a whole other thing. So I would either spend my weekend nights either at my friend Mike's or at his girlfriend Nancy's. And now they all lived with their parents as well, so it was always, I had been friends with Mike for 5 years previous, so it wasn't a big deal with his people. Occasionally they didn't want anybody over, even though I was quiet and didn't cause much of a fuss. So, and at Nancy's, I would sleep on the couch in her bedroom. I had no interest there. Or with any of her sisters. Mostly because I was dealing with this terrible breakup. And excuse me. So, terrible in my opinion. It probably wasn't terrible in her opinion. But, so, I would do that. And not long after the breakup, like within that first month of my breakup, somewhere in January, Mike decided he didn't want to date her anymore, so they broke up. But she would still come and pick me up from work, although there was a couple of times eventually where I expected her to be there and she didn't do it because she had other plans, and I got pissy with her and she corrected me. She was like, "Hey, I'm not your taxi service." And of course she was right. So yeah, sorry. And then eventually he dated a girl named Nikki that lived out where Myers is now, in this house in the middle of nowhere at the time. Now there's a bunch of crap out there, but at the time there was nothing out there. It was a cornfield with a house in the middle of it, which was nice. It was over by the Jewel on College. Yeah, was nothing out there. Now there is. There's a bunch of shit. And No, if you go park in the Meyer parking lot, you're parking where I used to get drunk in a house, in an old drafty house. And after a while, I would spend my weekends there because her mom let me and all my delinquent friends get drunk in her house as long as we didn't go anywhere. Oh my goodness, it's at 5 minutes. I had like all this text typed out, and it's like, I don't know, 3.5 minutes of text, and it's all out the window. But I'm gonna go a little bit more. For you people, for you, not you, but you. So yeah, I did that for a while, and then my grades started slipping a little bit, and my dad and my stepmother kind of put the kibosh on that. And my stepmother was like very pregnant with twins, and they're 22 now, and I feel old because I am old. But the twins were born less than a week after Kurt Cobain killed himself, which sucked. I was still dealing with, in my head, of course, with the breakup, and that didn't help me because I was a huge Nirvana fan, just huge. And, you know, just dealing with it being a weird teenager and that nobody really gave a shit about in school. So, I mean, and then I did get to hang out with like my friends and stuff right around when my stepmother was in the hospital with the babies when they were born, because the weather finally broke, because that was a brutal winter, man. Brutal. It got really cold, and then trying to think of other important events that happened. There was senior picnic, which was at Knights Action Park. Sorry, low battery. So I'll try to wrap this up before the thing dies on me. But yeah, I went there with no money, and there was all sorts of stuff to do, and I didn't get to do any of it, and I basically just stood around with a bunch of people I didn't like. Imagine going to a party where you didn't bring money for a cup, and then you had to be sober around all these people you don't like. Yeah, that's what it was like, except for no one was actually drunk. But that sucked. But graduation was cool. That was probably the most fun I had in school. I had to pass every single class with no study halls that year because I had fucked off a lot my freshman year. It kind of caught up with me. And then I graduated. And then I guess that's where I'll end this for now. And we'll get into my summer on the next video. And that summer sucked. It was terrible. Anyways, till next time. Deuces.